Welcome to Tech at Lunch, the podcast that satisfies your hunger for all things tech while you enjoy your midday meal. So grab your sandwich, tune in, and let's dig in.
Hello, I'm Nick.
Hello, I'm Ed.
Hey, I'm John.
And, as you heard Ed back in the background and, Ed's joining us again. Finally done doing, family things. He's got some free time to him. So, we're going to continue down talking about, robots and cobots and stuff like that. We're kind of really pushing the topic because we see the benefits and stuff like that. However, when we start talking about benefits, we're going to really look into the impacts of these cobots, these robots and cobots, or cobots and robots, however you want to look at it, to small business operations. You're talking about process improvements. You're talking about, anything that can be optimized, and not take the human out of the equation, but, kind of influence human interaction with technology and stuff like that. So, we start thinking about that. We start thinking about how you can add a robot to a process, or what process a robot would be added to, especially how that would impact small business, small, and then we're talking small companies. We're talking, if you have 1,000 plus employees, you're no longer a small business anymore. Hate to break it to you. By SBA regulations, anything under 1,000 employees is considered a small business. So you can have 999. Guess what? You're a small business. So it's how can one of these, or multiples of these, for that matter, robots or cobots impact that process. Add to it, kind of duplicate efforts. Well, not really duplicate efforts, I should say, but more or less like how can it support.
Well, in some cases, the duplicate effort, needs to happen. You need a fail-safe or somebody who's kind of following behind you. I think whenever I'm thinking about how it affects a small business, or how I could use a cobot or some type of robot to increase productivity or benefit in any different way, I want to start small, and I want to start simple. Like I want to. I think we've talked about this before, and Ed, we were just talking about it earlier. How do I free up that person who knows what the process is doing and knows what's going on in that process to further critique or improve the process? What you do is you could take that person out, and it's the same thing like professional sports players do, and they rewatch their tape back. Okay, how did I perform? So you could take and put a robot or a cobot in that same situation, perform the same tasks. Okay, how did it go? How did I teach it? Is it exactly right what we need for this process? It allows you to take a retrospective look at your process or your procedure or whatever, if it's production or anything like that, and you're able to kind of take it down and see what gaps you have in quality, what gaps you have. Man, it took me 10 minutes to put this piece together, assemble. This robot is taking 5 minutes. So like you're able to increase, that's doubling your output, but then you also know the process and can quality check. I think we've mentioned that quite a few. I think that's the simplest way that a cobot can affect your business and affect your processes and day-to-day life in a smaller business. But honestly, and I think that you guys would probably touch on this a little bit later, so I'm curious what you think about it. The complex tasks are a little bit more difficult for cobots and robots. So for me, I think that your employees should be focusing on the complex tasks that, my answer to this question directly is dependent on the results of how this piece is produced. What's the quality of that piece, right? So then that inspector, you're going to become an auditor. If you come from an assembler, you become an auditor, and you're able to give points to the production team or whomever, the engineers in charge of that station who just put the robot there, to say, hey, this is how we can produce more, and I can check and verify these qualities. That gives you a direct path to an increase in quality, output, and if you're good, you're gonna make sure that your uptime is higher. Yeah. So simply put, I think that it's gonna increase your throughput of most businesses. If you're producing a specific product, I'm not gonna say exactly double it, but your outputs are gonna increase just exponentially.
And when we start talking about quality and stuff like that. Especially if you start adding machine vision to some of these robots. As you have something going out of production facility, it can be scanning, for any non-conformities, any parts that aren't inside, in conformity, and move those parts out of the line for human to verify, for secondhand verification. So that's if you have a small little manufacturing thing. Even if it's like a bake shop, if you think about it, you make a piece of bread and you send the bread down the ramp. After you pull it out of the oven, you pull out the pan, you stick it on the ramp. There it goes. Right, send down a packaging from down there in the handle. But so it goes down your little assembly, your conveyor, and you have a robot there or a cobot that's scanning it, and making sure that you're within conformity. And you pick up that, and if it's not within conformity, you have an effector that picks up the piece of bread and moves it to an evaluation station. And so the thing is, it's like, but the thing is, what that kind of points out is, your shop doesn't have to be huge to incorporate one of these things. You're talking, cobots that are less than 1 kilogram robots. Yeah. You're talking, ones that are even less than that for some things, but don't go down that road. But you're talking about, these things that can do a lot of different, environments. And one thing that, I kind of saw, and this is, I saw this at Automate, and something that I talked to a couple of guys at Fanuc about, is the population who owns some of these small companies is aging, but they want to keep working. So, for example, bike repair shops, they've been buying Fanuc, the CR series of robot and cobots, where it will pick up the bike by the sprocket, hold it up, so the person can actually do the wheel change at chest level to make it easier for that individual to operate to do their job, because the thing is, the environment's changing. People are aging, but people want to still keep working, and they want to keep going that passion. And the thing is you start you're bringing in cobots and robots, and that kind of keeps those small shop businesses alive a little bit longer, because they're there to help.
I think that's a good example of quality of life improvement with the robot. I mean, it's going to cost money, but at the end of the day, your worker is also the output of the worker is also something you have to consider. And if a worker has to strain themselves to do a job, then you want to be able to take that strain off. I think you touched on a topic that I wanted to get to a little bit later, and I'll throw it to Ed after this, but. The situation that you've created, like the example with the bread, or the bakery, right? You have a task, you've got subtasks, but you've got an overall goal, right? So if you think about the overall goal as a circle, and these little tasks as pieces to do in the middle, some people might break it out and say, okay, I've got 4 subtasks to make to say I've got a finished bread loaf, whatever pack. So I need 4 robots, one to do each task, right? And I need a worker to verify each one of those things. So I think at a certain point that becomes inefficient, and most people don't realize that those 4 subtasks can be completed by one robot, and all you need to do is, there's a little bit of doing, a little bit of AI, a little bit of machine learning. It's going to be mostly machine learning, but with the technology now, like LiDAR for sensing area, detecting, obstacles in your room, and being able to feed to a CPU that's controlling your pathing and all that stuff. If you have a certain algorithm written into your robot, if it's bringing you parts, refill this bin, check the bin's weight to see how many pieces or parts. If it's a bunch of screws, like these subtasks, they can all be programmed into one robot, and that robot can be a cobot on wheels, on some type of table or rack that's AGV. Going to an AGV. At this point, like, I think I was watching a video from I can't even remember if it was some type of AGV company, but they wanted to change the name from automated ground vehicle to autonomous ground vehicle. Now, to most people, that's the same thing: autonomous, automated. Whatever, it's doing this automatically. Right. But autonomous, in my mind, is this robot's making decisions. It's saying go left, go right. It's saying this is too heavy, set it down. I need to reset myself. My like I have this issue. I can't get past this path. I need to send a message out. So it's contemplating and calculating a lot of things in an environment, in a loop or a circle, like if you will, like we were saying, and it's giving you the ability to be a one-man show in a certain situation. So I think that with the innovation that we're getting to, and I know we've talked innovation in Cobots before, but with what we're moving towards, I think that would be more the standard. Let's say in the next 5-10 years, a robot most likely going to be warehouse type situations.
Yeah.
I've already seen the video, and I know that you guys have seen the video probably of that vehicle that followed a warehouse like column and then went up the rail to grab the box off like the third shelf and bring it back down and bring it back too. So that's one unit that's kind of spider crawling up the wall and bringing it back to a set place. So that, to me, that robot, it doesn't necessarily replace the person that's picking like the parts as they come and as they need to be refilled. It's doing it. It's load balancing itself, if you will. So for me, I think that needs to be what, let's say, a small warehouse can use that for their business to help them with their efficiency with getting parts out the door. And at the end of the day, if anything's dealing with production, you know damn well they're going to talk about cycle time.
Yeah. And the thing is you know, you were starting to see people become more and more antisocial.
Yeah.
And the thing is you start interacting, bringing in robots and cobots. You know, the thing is now you can take those people who want to be self-entrepreneurs. They want to be by themselves. They want to just do their own thing. And they can bring these robots and cobots in to support their processes. They don't have to go out and hire nobody. They don't have to talk to nobody. They can talk to the robot if they want to. I want to hear that conversation.
Well, that's those people actually have talking robots back to them, and
right, exactly.
Those are the ones you got to worry about.
It's like you start getting guys who they want to be a blacksmith. Bring in a robot to be a blacksmith. You help them with swinging the hammer. You got because they're going to age, it's going to hurt their back. You got with these guys who I want to build coffee tables. Bring a robot in, and stuff like that. It's a very I don't know the fancy word for it, but a very single person occupation, but can be supported by a supporting cast of robots and cobots. And the thing is like we were talking about this earlier, is robots and cobots do not have to be overly expensive. You can always go and get refurbished robots and stuff like that to support small business operations, and cut your cost by about 20 to 30%. If not, probably a little more at this rate, I would think.
Yeah, it's possible.
From a reputable
Ed was
location.
talking about you can go to a junkyard and build it yourself if you want to. To be honest with you, you're going to save a little bit of money. But yeah, that's the point.
We call that hubcappy.
Not a robot.
Yeah. Okay.
Robot is a precise machine, so you can't do that with a robot.
We'll call them hubcappy.
Hubcappy.
But,
Building Wally.
so I'll touch on something both of you said. So I'll go to your point first. Mm-hmm. So one thing you have to consider considerations with robots. There's duty cycle. You said tack time, where it's duty cycle. Mm-hmm. You have to be careful how much you have a robot do, because mechanically we have not invented anything mechanically that can compensate for what we have done as far as computers.
Yeah.
So there's no way right now mechanically. You run something mechanical for a certain amount of time, then there's things that have to be done. So you have to load balancing. You have to make those processes make sense for one robot. Maybe one robot does its 4 tasks. Maybe one robot can do a portion of the task, or maybe it say, well, hey, I'll do this task one time, Premium do this task 2 times, or whatever. Or maybe I have 2 robots and I split it between 2 robots instead of 4.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then the other part of that is when we start talking about using robots to change things, a robot is not a craftsman. A robot or a cobot is meant to do something that is, I would say, rudimentary. at this point, until we get to cybernetics or get to androids or something that's more
pre-calculated, pretty much.
Well, it has to be
can't be variable.
It has to have the same things that we have. It can do all the things we do with our fingers and limbs. It can bend the way we can bend. So it has to get to that point. We're not there, but if we're using robot in small business, I imagine we're using it for something that's like, hey, this is something that's manual. And you're like a person lifting a big bag of flour to start the bread process. Then one other thing I'll touch on, and then I'll get to my point, is when we start talking about doing a process with cobots and robots, we don't want the cobot and robot to come in and do the simple things. I can get a scale to measure all my ingredients, and then I can cook a loaf of bread. I can weigh that loaf of bread and say, hey, this is the golden loaf, and if it doesn't plus or minus whatever ounces or grams or whatever, then it's outside of this. Then you take the technology to take that loaf and put it off to a station, and then we say, hey, we got an A class, B class, C class. A class we selling to the local Philly sub place. B class we give into a grocery store, and C class is something we donate to the homeless. So we want to look at that too when we're using that type of technology. So I think the biggest thing I get from having cobots or robots incorporated in a small business is the opportunity to allow prosperity in the community. Now I got the ability to outreach to schools and be able to educate those kids to come in and be involved with that technology. I can take my operators that were doing the process of the robot, and now they can become robot operators, programmers, or they can become robot technicians, mechanics, or they can become robot architects. I think that would be a big advantage of having cobots and robots in a small business.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see the fact that, we start getting robots and cobots involved in, like, for example, I was thinking about this, just a little while ago, is shoe stores, small mom and pop shoe stores, right? How many people they employ? 6, 7, maybe more, roughly. However, you have this entire warehouse. When we talk about warehousing, this is what kind of got me thinking about the warehousing thing, is you can build an ASRS for a shoe store. You fit them on, and you reach over, you hit the button. Hey, this customer needs this size, this shoe, and it spits the shoe out, giving the people more time to deal with the customer, giving people to be more, personable. You've worked in retail. The thing is, if you okay, we'll cut out half of that, but we'll
go ahead. No.
The thing is, if you think about it, if people were more personable, especially these small mom and pop shoe stores, stuff like that, where they could deal with the people instead of being in the back going, hey, where's this box? Or throwing around crap in the back of the shop, because anyone who's ever worked in retail, y'all, I worked at Big Lots, let me tell you. Thank you. I worked at Advanced Auto, I love it. But the thing is how unorganized the back room is.
Oh, you're going to get throat chopped. Yeah.
If you have an ASRS back there with all these shoes in it, here, hit this button, brings it down, they try it out, they don't like it, stick it back and send it go. And it goes back to where it goes. But the thing is
do me a favor, make sure they're the same pair too. Don't mix it up.
But here's the thing: if you really want to be cool about it, so kids can come in and watch it, and they can be kind of enthralled in it, put a plexi window in it so they can watch it go fetch the shoes.
So what you're talking about was done 20 years ago with media, when they were pulling media from archives. That system that you talk about has been proven that it was a robot.
There's examples that are already in place. The NC State library system is already they've removed the need for a librarian to organize these books. I mean, it's a good example because, like, for me, I mean it's a good example and a bad example. I'm gonna go with the good side and not the bad side. The good side, it's a good example. It saves you time. It does give you more time with the customer. That part might be good or bad, but
depends if you have a Karen or not.
Depends on who the customer is. No, I'm just kidding. Customer's always right. I'm just kidding.
But if you incorporate the technology with LiDAR or vision or measuring, then you can go with the person and say, hey, we can fit the shoe to you, and we will get the perfect shoe for you.
But that's the point I was getting to. Is at a certain point, it needs to get to a place where we don't just house 1,000 units of one type of shoe.
Right.
We make the shoe on site. We have the shoe machine here. This robot makes this shoe. Scan your foot here. Make the shoe there. It'll just come back tomorrow or whatever, and it'll be
Like
done.
an automated cobbler.
Or
Yeah, exactly.
you want a certain sole, and the material is already pre-stamped.
Yeah.
So I've already got the shape pre-stamped. I know that most sizes are, say, we just use an example, size 9, size 10, and then on the extreme, say size 12.
Mm-hmm.
I keep material for size 5, 9, 12 already pre-stamped.
Mm-hmm.
But this person want a certain sole. This person want a certain. Hey, I'm a runner. Hey, I'm a basketball player. Hey, I'm this.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could 3D print that sole to that person based off of that technology we discussed earlier.
Yeah, and that's a piece. Yeah, that's another piece too. That like, so the 3D printed sole has been proven by Adidas with the 44 shoes.
Those are cool.
And that thing has two different types of. I know that's getting a little bit off topic with the 3D printing. Two different types of curing that resin for that, and they've ran it through the what was it the not a 9,000 step test or something like that, or 90 mile test. I can't remember exactly. But they ran it. They vetted the system, so it's totally possible. And this is a very specific situation. We might open up our own shoe store because this is a great idea. But like it's that adding that bot to take it from the warehouse. I know I'm going to keep pushing on this. It's a benefit not only in the sense that it's going to save you time. It's a benefit in the sense that you can even code in a little bit more knowledge that worker doesn't have. So now to get a little bit deeper, and I'm going to go a little bit off topic here. To get a little bit deeper in so I did work as a store manager for 3-4 years and developed lots of management teams and lots of teams to sell certain price point. Like we wanted to get an average dollar amount, how many units per sale. Those were focuses in sales, and that's kind of common across the board, the KPIs. But the variability and the ability for someone to take an input and change what they need to say versus what they're going to say. So you come to me, you want these Air Force Ones in black, you want a size 7. Ooh, that's tough. I'm sorry, I got them in white and black, I got them in a green and blue in your size, but not all black in the size that you want. The robot can bring those things automatically coded in the algorithm.
Yeah.
It can suggest things. Now you're creating a situation where these things already exist. By the way, Amazon recommends all these things based off of your search history.
Because they've already said Amazon knows 30 days ahead what you're going to order.
Yeah.
You know why they know it 30 days ahead? Because of data.
Yeah.
So the data, I don't have to do anything special without going to the robot.
See,
what I have to do is I have to take the IoT data from the robot with the MQTT setup, take that data mine it, do whatever algorithm externally, which will run exponentially faster than a piece of equipment that has a smaller processor. And it's amazing. I can even put it in AWS or Azure and say, hey, I need these results real time, send it to the person's phone.
And
that's why Amazon keeps telling me I need kitty litter.
I'm just saying. I'm just going on what you're saying. I'm saying like,
but it's true. It's guessing. It's calculating ahead of time. And yeah, if it's got your data, that's it.
And as we keep on the theory of the shoe store, which is funny how we ended up on that process.
It's been working.
But the thing is think about this. Most of the time, you have people who have orthotic issues. My mom being one of them. I know a couple of people are like that, and they need custom orthotics printed or made or whatever. You can stick right now stick your foot in this foam thing so I can fill it with mold. And let's pray to God this works, right? Why don't I say, hey, do me a favor, stick your foot in that hole sit down and put your foot in that hole for me for a minute. And now I got a robot that has got an in effector on it that spins around your foot and actually measures it for me.
Well, it's actually
and
does for what you're talking about. You just put your foot into it.
Yeah.
And it actually, whatever cameras or whatever, and it actually tell you which. But it say which.
Yeah, the Dr. Souls ones.
Which one to pick.
I've tried that.
It's not which one I can make to your foot.
Yeah.
But hey, you're in this range.
Oh, I've tried that. I'll tell you what, the numbing sensation in the arch of my foot is hilarious. But the thing is it's just like that, but using a robot to do it. So the robot does a 3D scan of your foot, which gives you the actual mold pattern that you need. Then you can take that, take what you need out of it, print it off of a 3D printer, test it, be like, hey, does this work for you? Go take a walk in these test shoes that we've got, and then take that and send it back to the machine, for final production.
Yeah.
It's like, the thing is, and this is also where you start getting into robots for, knee orthotics, for example, knee bracing. The measurement for knee bracing is extremely weird based on how you sit and how you walk, because I got to get the furthest one down, the upper one up. So you can technically, you can stand in a sector and have a robot that comes around the side of you. It kind of measures, because the robots, since it's 6-axis, use that to do the measurement. If you had to, if you don't have another way of doing it using calipers, for example. If you want to think about a different, fun way of doing things, and kind of incorporate things, in an all-out situation. But orthotics and orthotic production, especially if you can do that in store, where it's like, hey, let's go ahead and measure your foot, get a 3D image of your foot, so we have it on file. So we'll never lose it. We keep it on file. They go ahead, scan your foot, spit out the image. You take that image, print it, bring it back, be like, here, try this, see if it works.
So I think the missing part in that system is there should not just be, hey, this works.
Right.
We should have some way of getting data back, strain gauges, some type of sensor inside of whatever we're doing as a test.
Yeah.
This is just a test.
Yeah.
And then that person should be able to walk based on what we did with what you're saying, scanning.
Yeah.
And we should be able to get real data. And the real data will tell us, hey, yes, this is what they wanted, but I can sense a little bit of more pressure here. And we need to adjust the model for that.
And I think that, it's like what they did for the new generation of NFL helmets. Where they have the impact sensors, they have the crush sensors, they have all of that in there. So if you have a set of shoes that you use as your test shoe, you can build those shoes inside that sole if you do 3D printing and stuff like that, and build in your sensor pads. That has an impact sensor, has a crush sensor, has all these sensors in there. Make them throwaway if you have to, to keep everything sanitary. And that's where you get your data based off of what you have, and it updates the model as it goes.
Because I think then you close the loop. You close the loop with all the technology that you just said was involved, and the person, if we go in Industry 5.0, then we actually make technology make humanity better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think if you keep that stuff on file, like we talked about healthcare, robots in healthcare, you can take that data and they go, hey, guess what? I had my feet measured here. Can you send that to my orthopedic so you can take a look at it? And you can actively share that with them so they can kind of see, okay, are you having falling arches? Do you have all this type of stuff? Is this what you recommend? So things can be kind of preset and stuff like that, and you're using cobots to do the measurements for you.
Yeah, I know that we've gotten a little bit off topic, but I think that it makes sense because you can have, there's already CT scans that where they're implementing machine learning and catching tumors before they develop as well. So these are things, and the reason that I wanted to keep going is because this kind of clicked for me. There is, you can even have these robots get to that point where they're trying to detect early signs of, I guess you get
fractures in the foot,
like
hairline cracks.
Yeah, exactly. So that's gonna help. That's gonna help healthcare, like you were saying already. And I think that at the end of the day, like if you bring that to a professional runner and you're showing them some of those things and you're custom making that, you're going to help them in their route to be faster and faster and faster too. So
and not to say one more thing on the shoes.
Yeah, we got.
Well, we know in the military we have to put boots on ground.
Yeah,
we can even make a better boot on ground based off what the guys went through
nice.
In the field. Do a campaign. We can
serious.
evaluate all of them over a campaign. And how can we make this better for the next campaign?
Yeah.
So just to get back on topic, so I know everybody's seen Iron Man.
Business is a big business.
and for me,
yeah.
When I think of Cobot, I think about the robot that was helping Iron Man
do
things.
Put a suit on.
So if I could offload all of the things like welding something together, that doesn't take a whole lot of brain cells. That takes a whole lot of skill.
Right.
So if I was able to tell it, hey, just make this frame for me, so I could go over here and figure out which components I need to put in the frame, then I could be much more creative by figuring out what to put inside the box instead of building the box.
And that's kind of where I've touched on before is and the reason why I'm a big proponent of the SEMA organization is using cobots for like vehicle restoration or custom builds. You're talking about hot rod builds. You got these builds that everybody looks at your welds, everybody kind of dissects the vehicle. You got millions of dollars on the line. If you win, if you do really well, you win the Riddler Award and stuff like that. You have $1 million on the line because people are buying those cars. People are really investing in those cars. You got professional coach builders out there that are building custom vehicles for people. The use of a cobot in that type of environment to like you said, weld the frame. Be there to get the frame supported, do measurements and stuff like that. Is providing that quality of life to that piece of equipment. But it's also, if you think about it, you can do small scale, not large scale, but small scale robot painting, for some of these custom vehicles. Even printing, if you really want to go with small scale robot 3D printing to print parts and stuff like that for some of these vehicles that need to be printed before they go off to like CNC for test parts.
Then you can measure. You can have a robot to measure.
Yeah.
All the things that you just said to verify that they're in spec.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we need to tweak here.
And the thing is where I really kind of, hear about it. And we kind of touched this in class the other day, is that robots are here to take my job. Robots are not here to take your job. It's the upwards and onwards. Theory.
They are here to take your job, but they're here to take their job to give you a new job.
Exactly, and the thing is I've always
make your job easier.
It's internal promote. If I bring a robot in, I promote you to another position. Never out. Always up.
But that's because that person that's the subject matter expert,
right? That
can make that application with that robot better.
Right, and the thing is, going back to the SEMA narrative. That's not to replace professional coach builders. That's not to replace the guys who are winning the Riddler Awards every year. That's not to replace the guys who are building these custom cars that take people's minds and stuff like that and kind of turn them on their head. It's not to remove them out of the process. It's not to replace those guys with imaginations. It's to make them more creative.
Well, let me ask you both of you this. You both are from secondary education, so you both have advanced degrees. I'm from a technical college, so I went more community college, technical colleges. What if I was able to take the guy that has a 4-year or 6-year or 8-year or whatever and say, yeah, in a lab and on a board you are 100% correct, but I could show you 99.69s how many times what you drew on that board won't work. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you have not considered this. What if cobots enable people to look at complex concepts like Minecraft? Because you don't have to deal with the housekeeping stuff. You're only focusing on the solution. If the robot can do the data sets for you, and you say, here's the numbers you need to put in whatever algorithm equation you got to come up with to solve that problem. What if that's what cobots and robots were able to do on a grand scale with young minds?
Yeah.
In small business. So I got a guy that's 25 years old, has an ideal, but he doesn't have all the experience. But he knows what he needs this to do. So this cobot or robot can do the thing he can't do.
Yeah.
But the robot or cobot doesn't have the ideal that's inside of his head.
That makes sense. Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense. Like you think about the welder and you're trying to weld something together. Someone who's helping build a car to ergonomics and they can't do the welding, get the robot to do the welding. It makes sense.
The thing that you don't know, it can do, and you focus on the things that you know, and on the ideal you have in your head. I give you examples. So like, what about when we were doing things with radiation when people didn't know, when they were doing experiments about x-rays and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
If I had something that could do that for me, then I don't have to worry about losing a mind that was probably one of the greatest minds in that type of science, radiation concepts or theories.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. So I would say, a person that's a technical college guy compared to a person in a four-year university, there's disadvantages to both. It's a disadvantage to the technical college guy because he doesn't have all of the principles that he needs mathematically or scientific theories with physics and blah blah blah, because he doesn't understand. But he does know that, hey, I know if I take this gear ratio and this gear ratio, I get this. He just know that because he's done it 100 times.
Yeah.
Whereas practical experience is not on that side of the 4-year.
Mm-hmm.
What if I was able to do all the things you said with AI and all of these machine learning systems, to do the practical side that the technical college guy was doing or the technical guy was doing, and then I was able to give that to a PhD guy. But hey, I just need somebody to do this part. I understand this. I don't have time to learn welding. I don't have time to learn machining. I need somebody, here's the CAD drawing, I need this. Oh, hey, I don't have time to do the CAD. I got a guy to do the CAD for me. Hey, but robot, go build this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how most processes need to be.
Yeah, you can focus
unless
on
you're
what
trying to do.
what an expert in.
Yeah. I mean, production's all about making more and keeping up time. So
So say if the guy needed to make a different type of wheelbarrow.
yeah, someone has to develop it. You need to keep producing the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it makes sense, and that's what a lot of people should be doing.
Yeah. And the thing is small business interaction with robots has never been as, start thinking about it. You also have the maker centers and stuff like that. You start bringing these robots in there so people can start using them for, their projects of what they're doing, so they actually get involved with them. You can bring people in and have them interact with robots, and, like, remember the old FYE? If
It's still around somewhere.
if you in certain locations, but it's not how it was.
It's different. It's
It's not
It's a
the
plushie store now.
Right. Now it's not. Hey, let me go in here and sit around and listen to the new record because it's out and I don't want to buy it yet because I want to listen to it first.
Well, they've still got that.
But now it's called YouTube.
Well, I want to give you and you something because you from retail, and I think you'll jump on this. I'm just giving an application.
Okay.
People do screen printing for T-shirts, and normally the manual way is it's a carousel and a person is blah blah blah.
Yeah.
What if I got rid of the carousel and I had a robot as the carousel to do blah 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 with the T-shirts?
No, you can.
What would that do for production for a guy that only has 4 employees?
Well, it's going to increase your output. I mean, at a certain point, though,
I'm just saying this.
I think
there's
there's better ways to use the robot than using the same carousel, though.
Well,
But
carousel.
I
you
agree.
get rid of the robot because
Yeah.
the robot can move 270
Yeah.
degrees roughly.
Exactly.
I can lay out stuff a certain way in a line, or I can lay it out in tiers.
So it does like a kind of like how the print press just rolls through exactly like that. That should be how it.
And I'm a small business.
Goes,
I'm just a small business that's trying to do T-shirts for reunions.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the thing is when bringing up the FYE topic, and the reason why I brought that up is because you used to be able to go in there and listen to music and buy posters and stuff like that. Stuff you can't do anymore, right? But then they ask you to use that. Remember the game room? It's like, why can't we have areas of where you're a small business and you want to teach people how to work on robots or be around robots or program robots? Why can't you use like an FYE, like an FYR for your robot, and where it's a building where people can come in and learn different robot ideas? So it's like, hey, I want to learn how to program this robot to move left and right, and I move from station to station. I don't have to have the full robot together. I don't have to have an effector on the damn thing. It's not required to move from station to station. You may need one eventually when you start getting into the more advanced stuff, and you have an entire other room where you have people in there that are showing people the full concept of what you just took together and you brought it to real life. So people can actually slowly but surely work their way through a robot program. People can kind of see how robots are used. Because right now, and this is, unless you go to Automate, unless you go to South Tech, unless you go to any of these conventions, you're never going to lay eyes on any of these robots or like the Haas CNC machine that we saw at South Tech. You're never going to get around to seeing these things. If you have an environment where somebody could walk in and see these robots in person, how they can be used in their environment, how they can program them. Not only is the small sales robot guy going to go up, the training, the knowledge, the curiosity of the small business people to want to learn these things goes up. And the thing is once you do that, you slowly but surely incorporate 3D printing into it. Then you slowly but surely, so now you're taking your local environment, small businesses, and expanding and compounding on that knowledge one step at a time.
See, I think that's where the gap is. And I want Champ to jump on this because, like I said, I like that he's from the retail because retail is as close to a small business as you can get. In general, retail, it may be a different form of retail, but it is retail.
Yeah.
I think that's where the companies have lost sight. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to make something unique to their company so that they can have a foothold. But imagine if I just said generally, this is a circuit breaker. Every circuit breaker in the world, every mechanical circuit breaker in the world is created the same.
Yeah.
Maybe the packaging look different, but the technology inside of the packaging is the same.
Right.
It works off the same principle and have for years. Mm-hmm. Now, we're not talking about smart circuit breakers. We're talking about conventional circuit breakers. Nobody has said, hey, I'm not going to show you this information about how a circuit breaker works. Mm. Every company that makes some technology that involves something with cobots and robots should have something freely available, information-wise, for everybody, or have what you said, FYR.
Yeah, and the thing is with that, I understand that making money is part of a business. You can't stay up without cash flow. But with that type of stuff, I would offer a day pass or membership for people to come in and be around them, and learn them and stuff like that. Really get hands on with them, and maybe create an online learning academy for people to walk through, and then they come in line and in the building and actually see them in real life. And the thing is you're not going to break their bank on it. Maybe a day pass is maybe $5-10 to come in and learn robots. Well, learn what you can do with them, right? You can do a year pass. You can do a month pass. You can do a year pass. You can do all this and slowly but surely build upon that. If you want to add in a 3D printing package, you can add in that package and slowly but surely build a location of knowledge. However, but still keep it open to the general public.
I'll give you a perfect example. It's a website called Soulless PC, and they're not sponsoring us. I'm just telling you from my personal experience. They cover all major PLC brands. That's what the companies are missing. Mm-hmm. Offer your technology for people to use, and if it's superior, they will use it. Mm-hmm. If it's a better product, they will use it.
Right.
If you have prosciutto and I got bologna, I want prosciutto. I don't want bologna.
Right.
Yeah, so kind of getting back to the retail type of thing. I mean, I think that a big hurdle that we're going to have to probably cover in and of itself is the reason that some of the cheaper stuff sells is solely because it's cheaper and the quality is lower. So if you're having a robot in a retail environment that's making these T-shirts, whatever, what have you, in the back as they come, as it's requested, that's going to save you money because you don't need to overproduce. How many times do you see a retail place that has to put things on clearance sale to get them out of the building or send them to another store or put them on some type of deal?
Another country.
Yeah, usually it's a different country or some or donation to.
But you just said a key thing. I want you to keep down this path. You just said how many retail stores you go to or how many stores you go to have something on clearance.
Everything.
That was originally 100%, and it's down to less than 1% of what it was worth.
Yeah, because they made it and they put it there, and then nobody wants it. But if if you have it on demand, build on demand. I know we live in a world that wants instant gratification, but if you build on demand, you can have it in such a way that you can have them show up, and then we'll ship this to your house. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to come out for a second visit. There. So the topic is the quality is going to increase because the fact that you don't have to make umpteen thousand of them and send them to all your locations. If you have several locations, you make them as they get purchased.
And if it's 1% of the people that want something, that's called a special. We do a special. You got to pay a little bit extra because we don't normally do this one. So there's that covers anybody that's a size 16.
And the thing is with the T-shirt idea, is if a small business wanted to be mobile, you have some of these robots out there now. One of them is Epson. Epson Robotics can run on 48 volts. It's a 48 volt robot. It can run 48 volts, 120 volts, and then 240. But so you can put these things inside enclosures. You can put these things inside trailers. You can put these things somewhere on display, right? So now you have a small business that's going to shows or concerts or something like that that's making T-shirts on demand. And they come up, they say, "This is what I want." They put the thing in the on a tablet or something like that. And if they're patient enough, they can watch the robot make their freaking shirts.
Or if you're brave enough, you use ChatGPT or some type of AI and say, "Hey, I want."
You can send them a video at a time.
Well, no, right. Now, exactly. far as the imagery, making the images, they way ahead on that. Mid-Journey, you can directly go to Mid-Journey, or you can go to Adobe and say, "Hey, I want Hook wearing a Kango, smoking a blunt," and it'll make it.
You can do the same thing with MSNBC.
I'm just saying, whatever the AI, when it comes to that, is so much of that already populated on the internet. It can easily look at that. And so you're talking about even easier if you go mobile.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you're like at a show or something like that, it's like, hey, here are the T-shirts that we can print right here. So you already have the frames set up with the ink and stuff like that ready to go. And, as they come, you just replace them as needed. You throw them in, let the robot yank, and there's your shirt.
And you know what else you get with that? Because you have the possibility of IoT and MQTT technology and edge computing, you know which inks and how much inks and which pigments you're using and how much. So now you know which pigments to buy and which pigments are not being used. Which saves you money because there's a lot of money to have that pigment just sitting around.
And the thing is we've seen, on some cruise ships, they have the robot bar where the robot's pouring drinks and stuff like that. We saw it at Automate. We saw it where they were pouring beers and, making drinks, stuff like that. You can also bring these things up to like a local event and have it pour sodas for people. The thing is with that, you might not be making a lot of money on a soda, on a soda, or a Coke, or if you're from the north, it's a pop or whatever the heck it is. Whatever it is, you're wrong. It's Coke. But the thing is,
it's a soda.
But it's a Coke. Everything's a Coke, even if it's not a Coke. It's
Pepsi. I have a pop? No, it doesn't.
It just doesn't flow. But the thing is not only you might make a little bit of money, but you get people interested in robots. They're going to sit there and stare at that thing for hours. Ooh, I want to see it do it again. And so now your profit goes up because somebody squirreled.
Well, let me ask you this: have you seen the coin pusher machines?
The one that you put like a penny in, or the one that like kind of flattens it a little bit. If you want to put
the coin pusher. So you put in some money to play it, and it pushes the coins, and you get a certain.
So like an arcade.
How sophisticated do you think that is?
Not that sophisticated.
But it involves gambling, right?
Oh yeah. I'll take your money.
What if I had a robot that could replace the guy that's
the blackjack dealer?
No, you ain't got to never worry about the house.
You're gonna be real upset because they're like, man, this robot's cheating, man. It's not fair. It's taking my money. Who do I fight now?
But like he said, it would be a neat thing.
It's a niche environment. And the thing is I guarantee no one's going to
I'm gonna
fight the
hack your
dealer.
robot to give me all aces.
I guarantee no one's going to want to fight the dealer.
And that's when the other robot.
The dealer's just gonna reach over and smack somebody.
That's when the mob robot come out and smack you in the back.
yeah, right. You just see a whole bunch of robots.
We've
Hey,
now
where are you taking him?
we've now gone to the now that we've gone to Sally from the George Jetsons that's come out and fucking busted somebody.
The robots take your job and they're disciplining you. So
Hey.
yeah, okay.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, right. That'd be pretty funny.
You know, now we got Sally from Jetsons coming back.
I was gonna say it's like a Family Guy. Yeah. It's pretty good.
But I will say this. You know, cobots have been around for probably more than 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the pick and place bots that you used to always talk about and stuff like that. Like
No, those are different.
Think different. Bomb
Different.
disposal.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Those were probably one of the first
Yeah, the
uses. Well, I would say commercial. Well, it's not commercial.
yeah. Send
It's
the
one of the
robot.
first-
Send the
Yeah, it's a
robot.
robot.
To do it.
They send the
Don't
robot
make me
in
do
there,
it.
But yeah, the bomb disposal teams were using that type of
I
technology.
They still
remember
are.
it looks like what was that Short Circuit movie?
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Both 1 and 2.
yeah. Well, I'm just
Not
saying
that Short Circuit movie. The movie Short Circuit.
the
1
movie
and
shit.
2.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying that's the picture when I think about the bomb diffuser robot.
Yeah,
He was
that's
kind of
kinda-
similar,
yeah,
like a
yeah, you're right.
very scaled down.
But you're right. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me.
And you know, we've seen robots and stuff like that get involved in a little bit of everything these days. You know, they're making hamburgers, hot dogs, fries, God knows what. Flippy. And the thing is, I hate to keep going back to automate, but it's kind of where we see some of these things. There was robots out there; they were designed for decorating cakes. All right, so it's the thing
Whatever
is,
you need.
you can have a robotic bakery, if you really wanted to, and the only thing the dude in the front does is hit a button. You can have all that.
So what do you call Dunkin' Donuts? It's not technically a robot, but it is a machine that makes donuts.
Cheap Starbucks.
Are you talking about? Oh, yeah, well,
No, there's a machine that
Well,
they
cheaper,
put
I guess,
everything
it's
in,
not.
and it rolls everything. Nobody's taking and putting
Yeah.
those donuts in a fryer.
you're talking about Krispy Kreme.
No, Dunkin'. No, excuse me, Krispy Kreme. But Dunkin' Donut. No, who's the other one? It's Krispy Kreme, but it's another one.
Krispy Kreme
Yeah,
is the
Krispy
one
Kreme.
that
It's
has the
Another
machine.
one, but
yeah.
it's others that have that type of machine that do that.
Yeah, just look for the red light on and
Yeah,
come on in.
yeah,
and
but
they're-
yeah,
they're
you're
nice
right.
and warm.
Thanks for correcting. But I'm saying like that type of technology has been there.
Yeah.
It's just that what's different is now I don't have to have a fry cook. Now I don't have to have a guy cook the hamburger. I still have to have a person in the front because nobody is used to androids.
Yeah.
We're
I was
not
gonna say
comfortable-
you're gonna get to
unless you're in Japan,
Yeah.
nobody's comfortable with
But the
that
thing
right
is,
now.
you miss half the fun with the disgruntled cook in the back screaming at the freaking person giving the order.
That's no problem. I can program the robot
We're
to
not
say
at Waffle House.
we can
Hey, now.
program the robot to say whatever you want it to say, and we can put a little screen say like as soon as they say, "Hey, I don't want no mustard on my," you said extra mustard, fine, you get it.
Well, the
So
thing
you get
is-
everything you need with the robot.
Well,
Yeah,
the thing
fit it
is,
in there, yeah.
is I'm going to tell, like you just said,
what's
it's not
your name?
Waffle House.
Yeah.
You will never see a robot take over a Waffle House.
Yeah,
Well, probably what happened is Waffle House won't exist.
like
anymore.
like
Oh, that's not going to happen. The South
Yeah,
keeps
that's
that
true.
place alive by the hour.
that's true. But
Every year at 4 a.m., they make a yearly salary.
I can make
they're the only place open at a certain point.
if robots are advancing, I can advance vending machine, and I can make a Waffle House vending machine and shut down Waffle House.
Yeah,
Now, the South won't let you do that. You know that.
The South won't be the South in 10 years.
all I'm saying is,
Well, yeah, it'd be California
they
the
put
East.
Best Buy in a vending machine too, and it's at the
Oh man, what you talking about?
They put Best Buy in a vending machine in,
They did.
in the
And
airport,
the airport.
and it's like,
Well, at the airport, you have,
Totally
to, you have to
priced.
do it in the right place. You take Best Buy and put vending in Best Buy so that most of the stuff, other than the big things I have, it's in.
I'm real surprised
kiosks.
it's not in most of those places because, like, you think about the small. There's Best Buy has standalone locations. Of course, it's like a sales floor. It's how it killed H.H. Gregg and Circuit City. It's because it showcased a lot of the tech, and this is why you go there sometimes instead of Amazon, which Amazon is huge. But that's
In
beside
Chicago,
the
they have an
point.
outlet store.
Yeah, Amazon.
No, Best Buy.
Oh, so no. There's outlet stores. There's outlet stores. I used to work. Okay, I worked at Best Buy as well. But in all of the malls, almost all the malls, they had a Best Buy mobile.
Oh, okay.
And it's like a small little store where it's a phone store for you. But if you took out that store, you put one person in there, and it's just like 4 or 5 like vending machine robots for the things that they need, or screens to show them the products. You make that small location that's only making money on phones. That's like, do they have a contract? Are you really making money off of this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. In the phone game, you're making pennies on the dollar. Like you're not making a lot of money. When
Unless you got
deals.
millions of
It's cutthroat.
people.
Yeah,
Millions of
it's
people.
cutthroat in that on that side of the play. So the idea of the vending machine that I saw at the airport being expanded upon into like the spot in the mall. Of course, you need a tech spot.
Well, smart tech. Like for right now. So the age range that we're looking at is the age range from, I would say, 16 to probably 25.
Yeah.
That age range there is really tech.
It'd be tough around the older population.
But I'm saying like who I'm trying to draw in.
Yeah.
So if I got this guy in a place, then this guy say, "Hey, I got smartwatches. I got this new Nintendo game, or I got whatever technology you're into." You have it there, and like you said, with the guy is the person running the place, but the cobots are doing all the things far as, "Hey, I'll go get it and bring it to you." And dispense it.
Oh, that makes sense too, because a lot of them had not like a big warehouse, but they have a back room. And if you have the robot in the back room, that's just handing the stuff out of a wall. You don't really need the vending machines. You can use more space in the back room, and it could just be the person that's up front that knows how to code into the system to get the piece, and they have to talk to that person to get the product.
I mean, just imagine you had a phone, and on your phone you say, "Hey, I want this," and you turn that to whatever, and it's all, "Oh, I want this." The guy said, "Yeah, I got this, no problem." And the guy could literally go, number one. He wants a number one. Hey, this guy wants a number two with a side of 3.
Yeah, honestly, that's
POS development design.
When I was working at Best Buy, and when I would shop, I used to shop at Best Buy before I worked there a lot. I downloaded their app, and you could walk around and like scanning the barcodes off of not the tag itself, because now they've got these tags with QR
Digital
codes
tags.
and all that extra stuff, and it has a little bit more information. It all goes to the same place, but you can scan the product on the app for Best Buy, and it tells you about that product. It's incorporating the original packagings.
I use it at Lowe's. I use the Lowe's version like that too, especially because we all know that Lowe's is terrible about marking their correct stuff. So when I'm looking for certain things, I have to scan the barcode.
I used to have to being the manager, I had to do a little bit of everything. I had to, mop the floors, like clean the bathroom, pull the stickers up. I had to do markdowns too.
That's definitely what Cobot should be doing.
Worst
They
thing.
should be doing mopping and whatever doing with the floors.
Yeah,
For
and
sure.
those markdowns and stuff like that. I mean, when they went to the digital tags, so smart, because like that means I don't need to print new tags constantly. Like they had one guy printing all the tags almost to half his shift, trying to get all the markdowns and price corrections, because you know how the sales work. It's $5.99. You move the sale thing, it says $5.99 sale. It's the same price. They just put a big sale in red letters. So it's a marketing trick. But we're getting a little off topic. But Best Buy is more of a bigger, large scale business. But if you take that same idea and you talk about a smaller tech company, like in a situation like in the mall or at a kiosk, being able to have, if they have some type of warehouse nearby or back room, utilizing that Cobot will, exponentially increase their efficiency. And then you could focus the front of the house on, like, how do I get people to come in the store?
If we do make one that does do any robot cleaning or anything like that, can we please call it Rosie?
Rosie.
But right now,
Rosie the robot from
Okay.
Jetsons.
I could see that.
right now they
I'm scared because Rosie's a robot that seems like it'd kill
they
you.
got wireless controllers, and they do. I've been in like Target and Walmart, and it's somebody driving it. They got a little strap on, and they're remotely driving this.
Like a little person?
Yeah, clean it. They're not pushing.
Oh, a cleaner.
It's driving
Okay.
itself.
Yeah,
It's
because
self-propelled.
we've talked about
And
this
then
too.
they just. So why couldn't you go to the next step? Why couldn't you
Exactly.
have?
We are going to go over a little bit tonight.
Well, that's what I'm
we're just gonna
saying.
let it run.
Well, I'm just saying, like we went to go hot pot, and or we went bowling, and it was an automated, like an AGV for the food that's coming to us, and there's no set path that it's following because people are walking around. It's like if you add a LiDAR and sensors, it's recognizing everything and just going around and recreating its path. So to me.
I mean, you can even
if you're not utilizing some type of cobot, I think that you're wasting some productivity.
And now, if you think about it, we have the robots that we use to detect chemicals, the robot dogs. Some of them can be a little overplayed. We do see that. But then some of them are used for, like, SpaceX uses them to walk around their launch pads to verify that they're not leaking any type of, like, what is it, hydroxyzine or something like that. That can actually, any type of xenon at this moment that can kill somebody, so it goes through there, searches for the chemicals, and if it doesn't find anything, it wags its tail or sits or something like that. People know they can come out. But it's that type of thing. It's utilizing robots and cobots for safety factors inside small business. So and it's like truck driving. I'm not going to replace a driver with I'm not going to do that. That's not no. But
but that's coming.
Oh, I know. But the thing
Hyundai's already got something like that.
Is automated loading and deloading of trucks. For small businesses who are accepting packages, like an automated forklift. You say, hey, go clean out the 55 footer. Out it goes, comes back. Instead of Rosie, we'll call it Forky. But the thing is Forky the forklift. And the thing is, it's one of those things that, as we expand the use of AGVs, robots, and all this other, fun stuff, they're going to find more and more and more and more use cases for them. Mm-hmm. So, it is what it is. But I don't know about y'all, but I think we've come to the end
I think so.
for tonight. I know we can definitely go one more. We'll definitely come up with something fun to talk about next week. But I want to say thank you to every single person who's kind of tuned in, listened to us ramble, and been there from day one. Some of y'all I can tell that have been there from day one because we kind of see the areas in which y'all are listening from, and we really do appreciate it. If there's anything that you want to hear, let us know. We've had 2,678 people listen to us. That's better than what we had before. Better than we had one. We were hoping for one, and one person listened, and then two people listened, and we got more and more excited. We want to break 3,000, pretty soon. But go take a look at the website. Go take a look at some other things. We will be out at myself and Tim will be out at SEMA this year. And so if you see us walking around, let us know that you've seen us, and let's sit down and talk. And especially if there's anything inside that space you want to talk about. But the thing is, keep learning, keep enjoying it. Go take a look at the blog. Hopefully we have a couple announcements coming your way here soon, stuff that we'll be involved in. But we'll play that one by ear. But we appreciate y'all. We thank y'all, and turn you over to the guys. Y'all have a good one.
So, like I said, glad to be back, guys. It was a good talk tonight. Really enjoy talking tech with the guys, reaching out to you guys out in the audience. And we just appreciate all the support you guys are giving us. And like I said, if you have any topics you're interested in us covering, let us know via email or DM or, whatever platform you want to reach out to us on.
Yeah. So, I always echo these guys. I'm very thankful. So it's nice to have this platform. If you guys are listening, you have topics that you want to hear about more, or if you have something that you've heard that us say that we should go in further detail on, you want us to do any research on something, we're open to that too. Just stay in touch, stay on some of our websites there. Volcanara, Printed Heritage, all these sites, you'll start seeing some good stuff come soon. So stay tuned, guys.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
That's all for this episode of Tech at Lunch. Thanks for tuning in and joining us for this tech-filled lunch break. We hope you enjoy the show, and don't forget to subscribe on all channels. And also, you can find us on YouTube under Volcanar Technology Solutions. And join us for our next episode, which gets published every Wednesday at 8 a.m. All right, y'all. Have a good one. See you later.